Hello everyone, hope you all are good and I hope that you have studied previous lecture thoroughly. It is part 1, lecture 19 and we are going to continue with same chapter 4 from part 1 which is journal. This is the second part of lecture 19. You had a previous lecture, it was lecture 19 itself and was the first part. In that lecture, we had started with illustration 8, which is left to be completed. So in today's lecture, we'll complete illustration 8 firstly, and then we are going to solve sum number 9, which is given on page number 103 in exercise. But before that, we are supposed to solve illustration 8, which is incomplete. We have solved illustration 8 from 1st to 12th of July, if I'm not wrong. And further, we are going to finish today. And then we'll proceed with sum number 9, which is given on page number 103. Yes, so starting from transaction on 12th of July, if I'm not wrong, if I have taught the transaction on 12th of July, but let me just repeat it simply. Goods of rupees 8,000 purchased from Bihari Brothers at 10% trade discount. And yes, we have done this. So no need to repeat this. It's okay. 15th of July, we are going to continue. Goods of rupees 15,000 sold to Bimal at 10% trade discount, and if due is paid up to 20th July, 10% cash discount will be allowed. What they are trying to say, understand, that the goods have been sold to Bimal. So one thing is for sure, that sales account will be credited because goods are sold at 10% trade discount. So what is 10% for 15,000? 1,500. So what is the net amount of goods? Obviously 13,500 rupees. So if the due is paid up to 20th July, that simply means that if Bimal will pay the amount up to 20th of July, then 10% cash discount will be allowed. Try to understand. Goods of rupees 15,000 at 10% trade discount. So firstly, goods are of rupees 13,500 now. After calculating trade discount, you are supposed to calculate cash discount as I've said. But in this case, the condition is applied along with cash discount. They say that if Bimal will pay up to 20th of July, only then cash discount will be allowed. So they have not mentioned anything about the payment from Bimal, that whether he has paid or he has not paid. So right now we are not supposed to calculate cash discount. We'll calculate only trade discount, and that too we are not going to mention in the journal entry. We are just going to calculate. So goods have been sold to Bimal for rupees 13,500 after calculating trade discount. Cash discount is not to be calculated because Bimal has not paid the amount. Yes, so who's the receiver? Bimal. Bimal account debit the receiver to sales account. Sales account, real account, credit what goes out. Yes. So 13,500 each. Then the next transaction, for sale of 15th July, Bimal has issued check for an half amount, which is deposited in bank. 15th को बिमल को जो goods sell किए गए हैं, for that Bimal has given check for an half amount. Goods of rupees 13,500 have been sold to Bimal. Yes, and Bimal has paid half amount of the same. So half of 13,500 is 6,750. And what was the condition? That if he'll pay up to 20th of July, he'll be given discount. So obviously, sorry for inconvenience. Yes, he has paid on 15th of July. That is obviously before 20th of July. So he'll be given cash discount. But only on the amount that he has paid. He has paid half of the amount. Half of 13,500 is what? 6,750. And he is giving me a check. On 6,750, he will be given 10% cash discount. 10% of 6,750 is 675 rupees. If you are having your textbook along with you, the solution is given to you. This is an illustration. Solution is given for this on page number 75, journal entry. Yes? So check is received for how much amount? Out of 6,750, 675 is of discount. So check will be received for remaining amount, and remaining amount is 6,075 rupees. So Bimal has given check of rupees 6,075 and we have given him discount of 675 rupees. Discount is our expense and hence discount has been debited in the journal entry. And who is the giver? Of course, Bimal. So credit the giver to Bimal account 6,750. Bimal was supposed to give 6,750 and he has given. We have given him discount of rupees 675, that is our expense. But his account is to be closed with 6,750. This simply means कि उनका 6,750 मतलब हाफ जो पेमेंट था वो उनकी तरफ से क्लियर हो गया है जिसपे उनको डिस्काउंट दिया गया है. All right. Next, on 22nd of July, Bimal has settled the remaining balance. How much is remaining? The other half of 13,500, which is again 6,750. And that Bimal has given on 22nd of July. Yes? So, just think. Will Bimal be allowed with discount? Bimal को discount दिया जाएगा या नहीं? Obviously, discount is not to be given on this payment because the payment is made after 20th of July and discount was to be given if he'll pay within 20th of July. So on 18th of July, the payment that he made, the discount was given to him because it was before 20 and now on 22. He has given the remaining cash. So now discount cannot be given. So amount is received from Bimal. He has given cash. So cash comes in cash account debit. Who's the giver? Bimal to Bimal account. Credit the giver. How much? 6,750. So that's all. Yes, moving towards the next journal entry. Rupees 1,020 was due from Sunita. She paid rupees 1,000 as a final settlement. See, 1,020 was due from Sunita. That simply means Sunita was supposed to pay 1,020 rupees. To whom? To us. To Pushkar. Yes? Not to Pushkar, sorry. I just mentioned the name of the other party by mistake. Who's the owner? Mahendra Sanghvi. And who is Mahendra Sanghvi for now? It is us. She paid rupees 1,000 as final settlement. Understand, Sunita was supposed to pay 1,020 and she has paid 1,000. So that 20 rupees is allowance. That I agreed that you pay 1,000 instead of 1,020. Okay. So how much amount comes in? How much cash comes in? 1,000 rupees. So cash account debit 1,000. Discount is given. It can also be said allowance. So discount account debit, because it is an expense, I have given her discount that, oh, it's okay, you pay 20 rupees less. Okay. And who's the giver? Sunita is the giver. So Sunita account will be credited with 1,020 rupees. And this completes the journal entry for this transaction. Yes. Lastly, a check of rupees 800 was issued to Vaishali as a final settlement for due of rupees 810. We were supposed to pay rupees 800 to Vaishali. 810 rupees to Vaishali, and the check has been given to Vaishali of rupees 800. तो यहाँ डिस्काउंट किसे मिल रहा है? हमें. प्रीवियस ट्रांजैक्शन में सामने वाली पार्टी को डिस्काउंट हमने दिया था. And right now, the other party is giving us the discount. It can also be said allowance. So we are supposed to pay 810 rupees, and instead of that we have given a check of rupees 800. So 10 rupees discount we have received. So who's the receiver? Vaishali account debit. Vaishali is receiver. Check Vaishali को दिया गया है 810 to bank account. Bank is the giver because check is given. Yes, 800 rupees का चेक दिया. क्यों? Because 10 rupees discount हमें मिला. Discount is received. Whenever discount is received, it is an income and hence discount has been credited. So what is the journal entry? Again, Vaishali account debit because payment Vaishali को मिला है. Vaishali is receiver. 810. I have given a check of rupees 800. So bank is the giver. Bank से पैसे जाएंगे. Personal account credit the giver. And remaining 10 rupees is discount given by Vaishali to us, to Mahendra Sanghvi. And just because it is an income, discount has been credited. With this, we complete this illustration. You will write it down in your fair book. And now we'll continue with the sum from from exercise that I mentioned in the very beginning of this lecture. So sum number 9 given on page number 103 in your textbook from exercise. So this is again about the transaction of goods. It is similar to the illustration we have done. It is about trade discount and cash discount. Alright, so let us begin. Yes, so the very first transaction, and firstly it is in the books of Ramesh. And the very first transaction, it says cash purchase rupees 15,000 and cash sales rupees 14,000. 2014, 1st of April. Goods have been purchased of rupees 15,000 for cash and goods of rupees 14,000 have been sold for cash. In one transaction, we'll be writing two journal entries, A and B. The first journal entry, of course, you have purchased goods. So purchase account debit 15,000 to cash account. Cash goes out. Obviously, you are not purchasing it for free. Yes? Yes, sorry for inconvenience. I am suffering from some health issues. So there will be a minor disturbance regarding same. Yes, coming back towards the transaction, you have purchased goods of rupees 15,000 and obviously you have given cash. So purchase account debit 15,000 to cash account 15,000. The second entry for the same transaction, you have sold goods for cash. That means goods are going out and cash comes in. You are not selling it for free. So cash account debit 14,000 to sales account. 14,000 again. Yes. Next, a personal goods of rupees 10,000 brought to business. Anything brought in the business by owner is what? Is always capital. Personal goods of rupees 10,000 has been brought in business. Yes. So anything brought in the business is capital. And here goods have been brought. Yes. Goods is an asset. Asset is always having debit balance. Goods comes in. So stock of goods account debit to capital account. Yes, 10,000. Anything brought by the owner in the business is always capital. So the next journal entry on 7th of April. Yes, if you are having your writing book with you, you can write down the journal entries along with me. Otherwise, you can also watch this lecture on repeat mode. You can pause the same in between. You can write down the journal entry and you can continue with the transaction ahead. Yes? So next. Goods of rupees 12,000 purchased from Harsh, 7th of April. Goods have been purchased from Harsh. Firstly, whenever you purchase goods, what is the very first thing that you debit? Purchase. Purchase account debit 12,000 to Harsh account. This is a credit transaction. Always in credit transaction, out of the two effects, one effect is always about the name of the account of person or a party. And another thing that I have clarified always is that whenever you purchase goods, purchase account is to be debited. Yes? So journal entry for this is purchase account debit 12,000 to Harsh account 12,000 again, because Harsh is giver. Credit the giver. Alright? Next, out of goods purchased, due to defective goods, half goods returned to Harsh. On 7th of April, goods have been purchased from Harsh of rupees 12,000. On 10th of April, it is found out that the goods that have been purchased, half of the goods are defective, and hence we have returned those goods to Harsh. We are Ramesh. Yes, Ramesh is the owner. Right now, if you are solving sum, you have to consider yourself that business is yours. You are Ramesh. So you have purchased goods of rupees 12,000 on 7th of April, and on 10th of April you have returned half of the goods from the purchased goods. That is, goods of rupees 6,000 you have returned to Harsh. So who is the receiver of goods? Harsh. So Harsh account debit. 2. Purchase return account. Why purchase return account? Because the goods that were purchased are returned, and goods are going out from our business. Are going where? To Harsh. Harsh is the receiver of goods, hence Harsh account debit. Goods goes out of our business, so purchase return account credit. And the amount is 6,000 rupees. Alright? Yes. Next, on 12th of April, goods of rupees 10,000 purchased from Ramila and half amount paid by check. Goods of rupees 10,000 purchased from Ramila. Firstly, whenever you purchase goods, purchase account debit. Purchase account debit 10,000. From whom you have purchased? From Ramila. And you have paid half amount by check. So, bank is the giver, hence credit, and Ramila becomes my creditor. So, purchase account debit 10,000 to bank account 5,000 to Ramila account 5,000 again. 5,000 I have given her by check, hence bank credit, and remaining 5 I have not given to Ramila, and hence Ramila becomes my creditor, and creditors are the liability for the business, and liability is always having credit balance. So with this, 10,000 has been debited and 10,000 also has been credited. Alright? Okay. So the next transaction on 15th of April, goods purchased from Ramila sold to Meeta after adding 30% profit at 10% trade discount. Yes? I think the question has not been completely presented on the screen. Let me just confirm this. If it is trade discount or is cash discount. Yes, it is trade discount. So the goods that you have purchased from Ramila, you have purchased goods of rupees 10,000. And those goods you have sold to Meeta after adding 30% profit. So what is 30% of 10,000? 30% for 10,000 is rupees 3,000. Yes? So 10,000 plus 3,000 gives you 13,000 rupees. I repeat, the goods that have been purchased from Ramila have been sold to Meeta after adding 30% profit. 30% of 10,000 is 3,000. So the price of goods is 13,000 by now. And now 10% trade discount. 10% for 13,000 is 1,300. Yes? So 13,000 minus 1,300 trade discount. So now finally the goods have been sold at 11,700 to Meeta. Meeta is the receiver of goods. So Meeta account debit to sales account 11,700 rupees. Alright? I repeat, Mita is receiver, goods goes out. This is credit transaction and hence cash, bank, nothing is mentioned. Moving towards the next transaction, on 18th of April, Mita returned goods of rupees 1,000. Who is Mita? Mita is my debtor. Mita is a person to whom I have sold goods of rupees 11,700 on 15th of April. And now on 18th of April, Mita has returned goods of rupees 1,000 to us, to Ramesh, to me. Yes? So this is sales return. Whenever the customer, the debtor, the person to whom you have sold goods on credit will return you goods is always considered as sales return. So goods comes in my business. Sales return account debit 1,000. Who is the giver? Mita. So sales return account debit to Mita account. Mita is giver. Credit the giver. Alright. So this way, I hope you understand the concept of purchase return and sales return. Yes? Next. Goods of rupees 20,000 sold to Kalpana at 10% trade discount and 5% cash discount. Goods have been sold to Kalpana. This is a credit transaction. Yes, they have not mentioned anywhere that the transaction is cash transaction. Simply they have mentioned that the transaction is, they've just mentioned that the goods have been sold to Kalpana. Payment is not received. So firstly, who is receiver? Kalpana. So Kalpana account debit. And what goes out? Goods. So sales account credit. So journal entry, Kalpana account debit to sales account. Now if we are talking about the amount, then firstly, trade discount is to be calculated. 10% for 20,000 is 2,000. So 18,000 first of all. Yes, 20,000 minus 2,000 gives you 18,000. Now you might be thinking that we are supposed to apply 5% cash discount, but you are wrong. This is not a cash transaction. Cash discount is applied only in case of cash transaction or when the payment is received or the payment is paid. Payment is made. Kalpana has not paid, so you cannot give her cash discount. Yes? So in this transaction, you are not going to calculate cash discount because cash discount is calculated on cash received or cash paid. Here there is no such thing. So simply the journal entry for this is Kalpana account debit to sales account 20,000. Right? 18,000. Next, goods of rupees 2,000 destroyed by fire and insurance company admitted claim of rupees 1,000. Understand? Goods of 2,000 have been destroyed by fire. Insurance company admitted claim of rupees 1,000. It is very natural कि by chance कभी आग लग जाती है, right? मतलब it is never intentional, but it happens. So we are having insurance company who will pay the claim. We have taken insurance for the same and the company is ready to pay 1,000 rupees. Goods have been destroyed of rupees 2,000 and the company will pay 1,000 only. So obviously 1,000 remaining is my loss. 1,000 I have to take from insurance company. 1,000 is loss and overall 2,000, goods of rupees 2,000 have been destroyed by fire. So this is goods going out other than sales. So in this case, purchase account will be credited. Yes, I have explained this topic. So first of all, insurance company becomes my debtor because insurance company will pay me 1,000 rupees. So insurance company account debit 1,000. Then my loss of rupees 1000. Loss is always to be debited. So I will debit the loss, and what I'm going to write, loss due to fire account debit. All the loss and expense is to be debited as per the rule of nominal account. So loss due to fire account debit 1000 to purchase account 2000. Goods withdrawn for personal use, goods destroyed by fire, goods given for advertisement. In all these cases, purchase account is to be credited, right? And hence purchase account has been credited here with 2000 rupees. They have clearly mentioned that goods of rupees 2000 has been destroyed by fire. Yeah. Okay. So next, on 25th of April, goods of rupees 5000 ruined in rain, 200 are realized by selling it. See, total goods ruined in rain, 500. First thing is clear, 500 rupees is to be credited to purchase account. This is again goods going out other than sales. I haven't sold. Goods have been destroyed in rain, ruined in rain. So obviously the goods that I have purchased for sale, goods are reduced from same. So further they say 200 are realized by selling it. Matlab 200 rupees mile. So cash comes in. Cash account debit 200. So out of 500, 200 is recovered. So how much is the loss? 300 only. So remaining loss is to be debited as per the rule of nominal account. Yes? Fine. So cash account debit 200. Loss due to rain account debit 300. To purchase account 500. So 500 has been debited, 500 has been credited. 500 has been credited to purchase account because goods have been ruined in rain, out of which 200 is realized on sale and remaining is my loss. Is that alright? Fine. So the next transaction on 27th of April, goods of rupees 300 received as free sample. Goods of rupees 300 has been received as free sample. That means goods have been received but there is no payment made from our side. So this is not an economic transaction. And hence this transaction cannot be recorded in the books of accounts. You simply have to write down that this is the non-economic transaction. Yes? And it cannot be recorded in the books of accounts. We have understood this in second chapter. In the very beginning of second chapter, that in the books of accounts, always economic transactions are to be recorded. Non-economic transactions are not a part of books of accounts. So simply in this transaction, you will write down that it is a non-economic transaction. And that is compulsory to mention. Yeah. You will write down that this is non-economic transaction for sure. Not like that you will just skip it. Yes? Next and last transaction for this sum. A mobile of rupees 1500 purchased against exchange of goods of rupees 1000. What is purchased? Mobile. Mobile is an asset and not goods. Yes, purchase sales. Words are used only for goods, not assets. So what comes in? Mobile. Mobile is an asset. Debit, what comes in? Asset, the rule of real account. So mobile comes in, mobile account debit. And what is given? Goods. Goods are not sold. Goods are exchanged. And hence you will write down to purchase account. You cannot write down to sales. You haven't sold goods. You have exchanged goods for purchase of mobile. Yes. So the journal entry for this is mobile account debit You can also write down asset in bracket to purchase account. Now talking about the amount. Yes, you might be thinking, ma'am, we are supposed to write down 1500 or we are supposed to write down 1000. Understand, you have given goods of rupees 1000 from your business and you have purchased a mobile of rupees 1500. This simply means कि 1500 वाला मोबाइल आपने 1000 रुपीज में खरीदा है and hence the amount to be considered here is 1000 and not 1500. Yes, because you have given goods of rupees 1000 and in return you are getting a mobile phone whose price is 1500. पर वो आपको कितने में पड़ा? 1000, because you have given goods of rupees 1000 only in the exchange of same. So rupees 1000 is to be considered and not 1500. Alright, with this we complete this sum. You will write down this sum in your fair book. You can pause the lecture in between and you can write down all the journal entries along with narration. And that's all. Let us see what is your homework. Obviously the sum that we have done today, that is sum number 9 from exercise, and also the illustration 8 that we have completed, that you will complete first and then you will solve sum number 9. That's all. We'll see you all soon in the next lecture. Till then, stay home, stay safe, and of course, study well.